why don't we kick things off? And other than an unphenomenal bio, anything else you would like us to maybe know about you, just personally, anything like that before we kind of dive in and figure out what you've been doing to build this team?
Yeah, sure. So, one of the fun facts about me, I'm 15th generation from St. Augustine, Florida, which is the oldest city in the United States, which is really pretty cool. There's only two families that have been continuously here. And I live on a little mini horse farm in eyesight of five generations of my family's potato farm that they no longer own. But so I'm like the down to earth luxury agent, I guess is a roundabout way of saying that.
Love it, love it. Wonderful. Why don't we dive in? Here, let's get into this. Obviously, all about attraction. So, we're here to learn about you. Can we start off real quick? How long have you been at EXP? And maybe even more importantly, what was it that brought you to EXP? What was it you saw that I guess made you want to come over?
Yeah, so I've been at EXP 4.5 years now.
Okay.
And it's funny, I was introduced to EXP 2009 or 2010 when Glenn was just getting it off the ground. That's when I owned my little small brokerage and they reached out they were looking for a broker for the state of Florida. And I'm sure everybody's always said the one thing they regret is they didn't join
Exactly. Oh
sooner.
my gosh. You would have been the
I
very
had
beginning.
three appointments. We had Skype back then. Um,
Mhm.
and I said, nobody is going to join this brokerage because it looks like a Sims game. And fast forward, look at us now. And that's just a good story to know because everybody always thinks when you're talking to prospects, they always have a lot of stories in their mind.
Yeah.
And we just keep getting better and better and better. Um, I was at Compass at the time. I had been with Compass for 3 years. And this was right during COVID. There was just a lot of decisions the leadership of Compass was making that I didn't think was fully agent aligned and said, you know what, I just need to find a new home. And the person or the group of people that I ended up joining at EXP, they were just moving too. So they had this very small group where
Mhm.
they told us that they were making this move. I think there's 10 of us. And I was like, son of a gun, like, it's come full circle. And so I was on an LOI for 6 months waiting for Compass to go public. And if anybody followed that, that was like a total waste of time because Compass went public and tanked. Um, so it's been 4.5 years. We did not have a luxury division when I came over. In fact, we had that really horrible orange and blue puzzle piece logo that was just like the worst thing in the world. But I just had had a lot of confidence in myself, and I said, you know what? Would I maybe lose in commission if I lose a few deals because of this ugly logo? I'm going to make up in the split that I save, right? And I ended up not losing any transactions and still continued to get referrals from Sotheby's, referrals from Compass. So again, just all the stories a lot of agents have in their head. I think I'm living proof that there is rainbows and sunshine and puppies on the other side of that decision.
So who was it? Do you mind me asking your sponsor
Sure,
and
sure.
how?
I was coaching with Lars Hedenberg and Stacy Peterson. They
Okay.
had a business coaching company called Real Estate B School that I had actually had speak. I had started the team leaders group at Compass and had grown that to a group of about 900 team leaders within the Compass. We had workplace too. And I had Lars speak and I really read him the riot act, like don't pitch anything to these team leaders, just give them value. And as soon as it was over, like I called him and I was like, okay, can you teach me? And so I was coaching with them for about 2 years before this happened. Um,
Gotcha, gotcha. Okay. Well, very interesting background. So been here 4.5 years. You were approached in the very, very beginning. That's crazy to think about.
yeah,
Um, so are there any mistakes that you made early on? Maybe that if you could turn back the clock, you would do it different
with
when
agent
it comes to
attraction
attract. Yeah, when it
specifically.
comes to attraction.
100%. I would get on after it and not keep, I'm like probably many real estate agents. We have a little bit of perfectionism in us and we want to know everything before we think we have something to offer. And we
Yeah.
sometimes wrap up in our head agent attraction is, well, what do I have to offer? When it's really not. It's really about what does this company have to offer that's going to help other agents and wherever they are in their career. So just getting out of my own head and
Yeah.
just moving forward with more intentionalism than just letting things happen is 100% what I would tell myself 4.5 years ago.
I got you. So you were on board for what would you say, a good year or so? How long before you really started to go, wait a sec, this attraction thing could be pretty big?
Well, it's funny. I have not done a huge attraction in the traditional sense. What I did start to do was just put out a lot of good content, put out good content, especially after we got the luxury division, share with people, made sure that the people in my team and down from me were putting out good content and inviting people to a lot of things, inviting agents to a lot of things with no attachment to the outcome. And that has really garnered much of our growth because people are like, wow, I had this conception of EXP as this, again, 10-year-old ugly orange and blue. And your materials are beautiful and your events are beautiful and your the listings you have going on, so it's just a lot of sharing and a lot of invitations and things like that that have made a big difference
Okay.
without being so hardcore, you know, prospector, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So this is obviously a lot of social media posts and all that. Before we dig deeper into kind of the direction you're doing that and how you attract, whether it's luxury and farm ranch, whatever, FLAs and FLQAs, if you don't mind me asking, size of your group and stuff, just so we all have an idea.
Yeah, so I have about 100 in my group, but
Yeah.
because they're luxury agents, my earning per agent is probably a little higher than the average earning across,
Yeah.
that's a huge thing that people don't often think about is when you're attracting higher producing agents, they're much more likely to cap. Um,
Hmm.
and they're much more likely to have connections with other agents who are maybe then going to be interested. So I think even though my number might be smaller than some other people, my earnings from that is higher because most of my
Hmm.
people are cappers, producers, and especially right now that we have that new first year bonus where you get
Yeah.
$4,000 for capping agents. If they cap within their first year, that's also been a nice bump. And co-sponsorship's taken off really well for me as well.
Awesome. And so what do you do? So if you got 100 in your group and you're doing a lot of different social media posts, first of all, like obviously we can throw it in the chat. If we want to follow you on social media, see some of your posts, what would that be? Can you type it in the chat?
Sure, I'll type it in the chat.
And then my thought is, as you're doing those posts and stuff, I was curious, do any of your agents in your group, since you're kind of the leader, some of them taking some of your posts and reposting them? Is that helping them to attract as well?
That's exactly how a lot of our group has grown. Not that I don't, maybe one guy in my whole organization actually attracts. Everybody else who's attracted people, it's more
Yeah.
been their posting where somebody's reached out, they weren't happy at their current brokerage, or they were just looking for a change, or often somebody had approached them and about EXP, but maybe they loved the concept of EXP, but the person who approached them, maybe they didn't know them well, it wasn't their kind of person.
Mhm.
And then they're like, oh my gosh, well, I just saw um, Mary is also DXP and I really like Mary and I like everything that she's doing. So a lot of times somebody else has already warmed a prospect up
Yep.
and then they see the posts and reach out. That's happened a lot, a lot, a lot.
Okay, so that has been your main focus is so you've built a group of 100. For everybody to understand this, there's so many ways to attract, right? And so you don't ever really pick up the phone and make outbound calls,
I've never
or
made an outbound call.
so you're just making posts and they comment. So do you spend a certain amount of time going out and liking and commenting on other people's posts or okay.
I definitely engage. I do, I came in with a decent number when I moved to XP, like I had a decent number, especially on Facebook, of engaged agents. I'm just getting my other thing there for you. Um, is that spelled right? No, hold on.
That's all right. Take your time. Yeah. And
Uh,
we can wait till after the chat because I don't really want them jumping over now unless there's something
got it.
specifically you would
No,
like us. Okay.
I mean, so one thing I did do is I have employed a full-time graphics person. Um, and so she's creating, so our graphics always look elevated, and we made them blend and kind of be able to uh, aesthetically feel in alignment with the graphics that come from the luxury division, with now the graphics that come from the land and ranch division. So she makes things that are easily shareable by our downline and our team members. They can share it themselves to their feed, or sometimes they just share it to their stories. Like all they have to do is push share. So super easy. She's made like a beautiful brand guide. I just had a person who was deciding who her co-sponsor was going to be, whether it's going to be me or another guy. And we had two different things to offer. Like I had the luxury background, he had the local presence. And she was saying how she was really concerned about the onboarding process. A lot of times if somebody's come from a luxury brokerage, they get a lot of hand holding. That's one of the reasons
Hmm.
their compensation plan is so different. And so it's a little nerve wracking to come over to a brokerage where you do a lot more. And I said, you know what? We have this beautiful 30, 60, 90-day plan. It's kind of giving you permission to put blinders on, telling you what to focus on the first 30 days, what to focus on the first 60 days, what to focus on. And just seeing that, that made her decide that I was the right person to be her co-sponsor. Um,
And that 30, 60, 90, is this something you and your team have created, or you're getting something from corporate?
no, we took something, well, we took all the things from
Yeah.
corporate, because if you just rely on corporate, it's like drinking from a fire hose, and it can be very daunting and it can really stress people out. And we
Yeah.
don't want them to feel stressed. So we took all the things from corporate, all the things from our upline and what we offer. And then we just broke it down 30, 60, 90 and said, look, everything else is going to be there. You don't need to do
Hmm.
all the things your first 30 days. Put the horse blinders on, focus on these things for 30 days so you're shored up there. Then you can move on to the next 90 days, focus on those things so then you're shored up there. So you're not feeling stressed, overwhelmed, feeling like your business is suffering. Because if you don't get people plugged in early,
Hmm.
have a large chance that they're going to feel overwhelmed, disenfranchised, and maybe not stay. Um,
Is that something, Janie, I know you guys probably put a lot of time and effort. Is that something you'd be willing to share, that 30,
yeah,
69?
I can
Because we're
share it with
doing
you.
we've been doing the same thing, and I'd be just very curious for our group to compare just
Sure.
kind of the flow and so forth. That'd be
Yep.
awesome.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Um, Out of curiosity, without me clicking on each one of these, are you posting on all platforms, or is there one or two you're zoning in on that you've kind of seen better
So
results?
Janie C is my personal Instagram, because I also do a lot of coaching and training, separate from my team. So there's
Okay.
certain things I'll post on that don't have anything to do with the team. And then Gorgeous Florida Homes is our team, is our official team at EXP. And so that's more real estate, the areas we serve, wins by people in our team, new people have come on board, stuff like that.
Gotcha, gotcha. So out of curiosity, let's kind of zone in a little bit more. So if you know of agents that are out there that are doing luxury, that are doing farm and ranch, do you sometimes go post directly to them or message them, or do you just keep it with people finding you?
I've been, I mean, not that 100 is rocking the house down, but what I get from my 100 people covers my mortgage, covers my car payment, covers my health insurance, covers my utilities. Um, all my basics are
Yeah.
covered every month from that number. That gives me a lot of peace of mind. I'm a single person. I've had cancer before. I have a little mini farm. So to
Oh,
know that should something happen, I travel a lot. I travel often a month at a time, like remote places that are hard to reach. So knowing that I have the comfort of my bare necessities covered financially
yeah.
is a game changer. It really is a game changer. Um, so I don't even, what was the question?
Well, first of all, you kind of threw me off. First of all, praise God. So you beat cancer when you brought that up.
Yep, I beat cancer. Yep.
Okay, praise God. my wife and I got 5 friends slash family right now dealing with it. Pray every day for them. That's scary. So thank God you
It
did that.
is.
So kind of
Yeah.
threw me for a loop, but thank you for
Oh,
sharing
sorry.
that.
Yeah.
Um,
I just celebrated 10 years, which after 10 years, that's considered to be completely clean.
yes, 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 yes. Thank God for that. Um,
Thank you, Tim.
yes. What else was I just thinking about when you said that? So
You asked me a question and I know I went
I
off on
guess
a
about your
tangent.
post, because I haven't went and looked at
Oh, if I
everything.
reach out to people individually, I
Yeah.
don't. Like I am the ant
Wow.
I'm like the anti everything. I always do everything very contradictory. Like I made a killing in expireds. I became the number 9 in my MLS with expireds. I never called a single expired. No, that's not true. I called like 2. And I was so panicked by it that I never did it again, but I found a different way. So I just approached attraction the same way. Truly in an attraction, like the real word of
Yeah.
attraction
Yeah.
is attracting people, inviting people to things. I have on my phone I have an app. It's called the Reach app,
Yep.
REACH. I think
I
it's
have.
$9 a month, something like that. And I
Yep.
have a whole bunch of different lists. That's the one thing I've been very um tactical about. So I have
Yep.
prospects, friends who aren't here that they've said they're not interested in joining. But so I have all these different groups. So I
Okay.
do share a lot out inviting them to things. Inviting them, the luxury division frequently has something that's not a pitch for EXP, not a pitch for luxury. It's just pure training. Land and Ranch has something similar. There might be local stuff. I do a lot of training and events that I'm either part of or so I that's the one thing I do a lot. And it's often very, very targeted, right? Meaning I'm not sharing the luxury stuff with necessarily the land and ranch people, not sharing the land and ranch stuff with the luxury people, so they feel like it's one off. The reason I use the Reach app is if you have an iPhone, you know the difference between a blue and a green text. I'm
Yeah.
an iPhone user, so
Yep.
automatically if something comes in green, I think it's potentially spam. Um, but the Reach app actually is directly from your phone. So it feels like
Yeah.
it's a one-off text. So I do that.
Gotcha. So without me going to look at your Facebook post, generically, you could be posting stuff on your own feed, whether it's luxury or whether it's ranch, but over on the Reach app, you're being very specific with your groups that you're targeting. Do you share like once a week with them or
No,
how
no, I
often?
just share as something comes up. So it feels very organic, right? It doesn't,
Yeah.
it feels like, hey, Sean, this land and ranch training is coming up on, special deeds and tax things. I thought about you and I wanted to share it with you. And
Okay.
then, so it feels like I've one-off texted you.
Yeah.
Um, but the Reach app is kind of handling a good portion of that. So I can do a couple hundred pretty easily.
Yeah. And so if people, you send that directly over to them, obviously you just kind of leave it dormant, see if they make a response
Yep,
back. If not, just
yep,
organically, and that's
yep,
it. And so when they
exactly. And
respond, when they reply back to you, do you have obviously it's different for luxury, different for farm and ranch. Is it more just a dialogue? Do you go meet them for lunch, get them on a Zoom, kind of be more specific on what their interest is about farm and ranch, or where do you go once they
no,
show interest?
because again, mine has been 100% attraction based. So I'm inviting, I'm sharing, I'm pouring into people. And then they end up coming to me when they want to learn more about EXP. So it's very different approach than most people, but it works for me. Like I said, I did the same thing with expireds, became the number 9 agent in my MLS 2 years from a cold start without calling, just by
Hmm.
reaching out, sharing information where they were then calling me to come list their house or have an appointment. So I just took the same approach and I put it on attraction. And I just share enough so that, again, a lot of times people have been approached by EXP agents
Hmm.
or they're getting frustrated with their broker. That's a lot of times what happens. And now is a perfect time because they're looking at like what they paid their brokerage the last
Hmm.
year. So now is a great time, especially because times are kind of lean for a lot of agents.
Hmm.
So they'll end up then reaching out to me and asking me, and then I have a conversation on the phone just to find out where they are. And then I'll normally share the back end dashboard of either the luxury division or the land and ranch division, whichever's the most um, of interest to them, right?
But I'm not sure what that is. Maybe I'm alone. You're a dashboard for
So
each.
when you belong, because I do belong to both of those divisions, we have like kind of like um every agent at EXP has access to Okta. So you could probably have, you just take them into Okta, show them around some things, show them Canva. It would be the same kind of thing. Like, hey,
Okay,
let me kind of show you under the hood, of what
gotcha.
we have to offer. Yeah.
Okay. Would any is that something anybody here would like to see, or just everybody understands where she's coming from? Okay, I got one hand up there. I don't mean to put you on the spot, Janie. You asked if there was a
Yeah, yeah.
presentation, PowerPoint, but I wonder if we'd get more out of it, even if you shared, if someone showed interest and you wanted to show them under the hood. Is that
Yep,
something, if I gave you permission, could you share your screen?
yep. Let me pull it up.
You rock. All right, hold on. Let me sure I got to where you can
So,
share.
like I said, my numbers aren't necessarily, I'm not in alpha land with my numbers, but it is enough numbers to substantially impact my life,
Oh
to have
my
your
gosh, yeah.
mortgage, car, insurance, property
Absolutely.
taxes, health insurance, utilities, all covered.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, it's
Yeah.
pretty
Okay.
substantial.
That is amazing. Speaking of that, while you're pulling that up, do you, now that you've tasted that, you see the success, you see the peace of mind it gives you, like you said, if you disappear, just knowing things, is there now more of a focused goal on it? You keep doing what you're doing, or do you have like,
No,
man, I want to get
definitely.
to 500 agents, I want to get to 1,000. What does that
Yeah.
look like?
Now, when you were asking me before, what would I change? And I was
Yeah.
saying I would have approached attraction mindfully rather than passively.
Hmm.
I would have done that before. I'm still not going to be a prospector. My skill set or what I'm so comfortable with and that helps is trainings, events, local events, online trainings, bringing people on. So I'm definitely going to lean into that. And co-sponsorship has been huge for me,
Yeah.
because now we have 90,000 other people out there that we could share with, that we can co-sponsor with, depending on whatever our
Mhm.
special thing is. So
Yeah.
my special thing is luxury and land and ranch. Other people, it might be commercial. Other people, it might be, investing. And so now we have 90,000 other foot soldiers out there that we can, partner up with. So that's been huge for me. I brought over three co-sponsors very recently, all of which were from Sotheby's, and they weren't quite convinced moving to EXP was going to work for them until they talked to me and then they're like, oh gosh, okay. And, just felt comfortable. So those are my two paths, just sharing more, being more intentional, building my email list. That's the other thing I really didn't do a great job about, um,
Hmm.
was making sure to capture emails and send out valuable emails. Cause like, again, I was doing it by text in the reach app, but you can do a lot
Yeah.
more with email. And then my coaching and training is broker agnostic. So that puts a lot of people into my world as well. But I don't
Okay.
pitch EXP to any of my um, students. I don't want them to feel weird.
So before you share your screen, obviously, if anybody had any luxury prospects, might be a good co-sponsor opportunity with Janie, and maybe set up someone who's a pro, an expert, and so forth. If you brought over three people from Sotheby's, do you mind me asking what was it that really pulled them over? What are the differentiators that we have that they don't have?
Sure. Well, there's not so much differentiator, but I will tell you there's three. And like I said, I'm also going to send you my link to my Luxury Agent Attraction Academy that's free.
Okay.
Because I've got now six or seven trainings on there where I've really broken down the different avatars of luxury agents. I've also broken down the Compass Anywhere merger and what that means for attraction opportunities because
Yeah.
Anywhere owns Sotheby's, right?
Yeah.
Um, so what that means, I've broken down deep dives into our specialty things. But I will tell you the agents who come from Sotheby's or any of the other legacy luxury brokerages, the ones who are most like, there's two avatars that are most likely going to come. One is they're a solo agent they're seasoned, they've been doing real estate a long time, and they're just kind of tired. And this is for Berkshire Hathaway, any of the legacy models. Those legacy models are so expensive to operate for the brokerages and the corporations.
Hmm.
They have to really, they have no other way to earn income from agents other than sales. So
Yeah.
they have to, right now in a slower season of real estate that we're in, they have to squeeze every dollar they can out of every agent. So that means three things that are very uncomfortable to agents. One, they're almost all on some kind of sliding split scale.
Hmm.
And often in good times, the brokerages will kind of let it slide if they're on a better split than they maybe have earned.
Hmm.
Right now, they're rolling back their splits a lot. So maybe they were on an 85-15, but they really only earned a 75-25 based on their production. In
Hmm.
good times, a lot of times those brokerages will let that slide. But right now, times are lean. They have very expensive offices to pay for, these brokerages. They're rolling the agents back to like the 75. So a
Gotcha.
lot of frustration with that. They're taking away benefits, they're adding fees. Again, these brokerages are really hurting financially, really, really hurting financially. And their only income really is what can they squeeze out of the agent. Two, they're just tired of the pressure from their management to sell. We don't have pressure from EXP management to sell. If we do, if we don't, nobody's calling us up asking, hey, what are you doing? So imagine if you're a 25-year veteran in real estate and maybe you're a grandparent like you and me, Sean, and you're wanting now to slow down and spend time with your grandchild, and you've positioned yourself to do that, but then your, 37-year-old manager is calling you up, giving you pressure to sell. Like they don't like
Mm.
that.
Yeah.
And that's a
Yeah.
lot. And then the third thing is most of these legacy brokerages are very controlling about the branding, so how people can brand themselves. Uh,
Mm.
they have to be very much on brand about
Yeah.
how things look. And they sometimes get sick of that because they're like, I can't even really brand myself. I'm really kind of stuck in this box. So those are kind of the three things a seasoned agent at any of the legacy brokerages would move because of. Or, and this happens a lot, management is very controlling on their splits, their fees, what they can charge. And maybe they had somebody they needed to reduce their commission. Maybe somebody was going through a divorce and didn't have enough money in the deal to pay a full 3%, and they want to do it for 2.5%, and management is saying you can't. And they're frustrated by that. So that's one. And then the other avatar at these luxury legacy brokerages would be a much more entrepreneurial minded agent. They just don't want to sell, they want to do other things. Maybe they want to have some kind of side business, coaching, training, adjacent business, but they're entrepreneurial minded.
Yeah.
Um, Most of those brokerages don't leave a lot of space for people to be, and then it's not encouraged at all. So those are your two main avatars. If you have a brand new agent that happens to be at one of those, they're normally not going to feel strong enough for themselves to be willing to leave. That's kind of like their apron strings, right? And then
Yeah.
you have others that are just so embedded, probably got a lot of incentives, have a lot of perks to try to unwind themselves with that would be very, very difficult. I don't even
Yeah.
mess with those two avatars. The other
I
two much
gotcha.
easier.
Yeah. So that is great, great info. And Kelly, I know you're taking notes, and we got people probably got their AI in here, but that was some great stuff. So thank you for sharing. I'm thinking the same thing you are, Kelly. One of her questions in the chat is, what did you just pull up to get your box bigger of you in the bottom left corner? What are you using?
Oh, so on Zoom, when you share your screen on Zoom, there's four different ways you can share your screen. So I guess you're seeing me on the corner.
Yeah, but and
Yeah.
larger than normal at the bottom left.
Yeah, so I do that for whenever I share my screen on Zoom, I share that because I find I do a lot of training. I'm probably training 3 times or more a week, different groups, different people. And I
Okay.
just feel training when you see a person more, it connects a little bit better than all of a sudden it's like this voice coming out of
No,
somewhere.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I will have to look for that feature.
When you go to share your screen on Zoom, just look before you share it.
Yeah.
Look over to the right and there'll be four options. One is the regular option that is the default that doesn't show you. One is you on the bottom left. So you normally need to sit a little bit over like this so that you can see the whole screen.
I got
Uh,
you. Yeah.
One is to make you and the screen the same size, and one is to make you larger and the screen little.
Okay. So we can just kind of play around. Well, thank you. Thank you for
Yeah, yeah,
sharing.
yeah.
Yeah, and I'm with Kelly in this, and she put, what are some examples of value that you were sharing in your reach text?
It's normally always inviting them to something or sharing something going on. Or for example, who have any of you received a weird text recently from somebody super nice, like, "Hey, my name is so and so. I'm interested in your listing. Can you just jump on a Zoom with me or my attorney to get a little more information before we set up a showing?" Like that's rampant in our area right now.
Hmm.
And it's a scam. They're wanting to send you something that looks like a Zoom. And there's two outcomes they're trying to get. Either they're trying to get enough video and audio of you to make an AI avatar of you, right?
Wow.
If you do that,
Mhm.
or they're trying to, put a virus or something like that on your computer. So because I'm a team leader of 25 agents, and I always warn them, if you have any inkling that something doesn't feel right, let me know. I can tell you. I was a manager in Miami. I have like the biggest radar for scams ever. And so something like that, I then texted out to all the people. I said, "Hey, by the way, this scam is going on. Just wanted to let you know I was thinking about you." Or if it's local and there's some local event I think that they might be interested in, might invite them to
Mhm.
that. If I'm going to be on something that's open to the public as far as coaching and training, I might invite them to that. I'm just always thinking of something. So probably I reach out to each individual 1 to 2 times a month in
Okay.
in groups, right? So
Yeah.
it's managed. Um, but it's never regular and it's always they feel like I'm individually thinking. And so a lot of them, Sean, when you're saying a lot of people don't respond, that's fine, but a lot of people will either heart the message or they'll
Hmm.
say, "Hey, I can't make it, but please keep me in mind. I love that you're thinking of me." Stuff like that. And that leads to conversations. Also,
Yeah.
if it's the local group and we're having a broker's open house or there's some local thing, I'll invite them to that or even just share it with them,
Yeah.
even if I'm not going to be there myself.
Love it. So what I'm gathering here, everybody, just if you're not using the Reach app, if you got an iPhone, that is pretty cool. I use it as well.
Yeah.
But I haven't really taken the time to do like you're thinking, break it down into specific groups, right? So you can target them directly. You can put their name so it looks like it's an individual
Yeah.
person post or text. Anyway, that's great stuff right there.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know if is there anything else you're wanting to show here? So this is when you get an
So
agent.
when you join EXP
Yeah.
Luxury, you get access. This is within Okta, but it's kind of like the same thing as our Okta, where we have a whole dashboard. We have our listings. We have a lot of specialty Canva graphics, just like EXP does. We have lots of training. We can create, listing presentations, marketing plans. And so if I had somebody who was interested, maybe they were like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't even realize EXP had luxury and what you guys are putting out is gorgeous." Like if you're not following the luxury division and the land and ranch division on Instagram, I definitely would because
Mm.
it is the easiest thing. All you have to do is share. Um, you know, for my best friend, we owned a brokerage together for 5 years. We both went to Sotheby's together. Then we both went to Compass together. And then she has not left Compass. She's still at Compass and she's my best friend. I call her my real estate wife, but she's also my best friend in life. Um, and she's just not been interested in EXP, not in a bad way. She's just
Yeah.
not been interested. And I just shared about the sports and entertainment division. Like I shared a post that the sports
Hmm.
and entertainment posted. All their graphics are beautiful. And she messaged me, "Wow, this looks so professional." Oh my, it was the first time. that she actually responded and reached out. So that's what I'm saying, like just sharing stuff, even if it's just, sharing to your
Yeah.
story.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not even having to upload, not even having to create a caption, anything like that.
Now you just got me thinking of something I haven't been doing, but because I do outbound calls, which is terrible as that is, I don't have any other way. I don't sell real estate, so I got to make outbound calls.
Yeah.
But as I'm doing that, I am discovering what their niche is, right? Some will tell me farmer, whatever, and then I need to just take every one of those, start creating groups on Reach, go on and check out the EXP social media stuff, start just forwarding from time to time. But anyway,
Yeah.
just another way of
And inviting them to things like that's what I'm saying.
yeah.
Definitely follow Land and Ranch, definitely follow Luxury on Instagram. So when they're having an event, like Land and Ranch is having on Friday, an open event, it's not a EXP pitch, it's not a Land and Rand land pitch. It's I think it's like some 2026 business planning.
Yeah.
So you can invite people to it because you're not pitching anything. And then there's a very good chance they're going to see everything, be like, oh my gosh. And let me tell you, since we're on this attraction conversation, I'm the co-chair of the luxury division. I helped create the luxury division. It is like my baby. But
Hmm.
that being said, now that we have the land and ranch division, which is anything land related, including half acre infill lots in the city or town, development land for new construction, timberland, farms, equestrian ranches, recreational lands, anything that falls under that bigger umbrella of land is land and ranch. Every state, every um, area has some kind of that real estate for sale. And a lot of times it is agents who specialize in that. And they normally are having to pull together everything on their own, cobble together their
Mm.
marketing materials, cobble together their listing distribution and reach, cobble together their own training. They're very, very, very much on an island. And, there are one-off mom and pop brokerages that specialize in that. Could be equestrian specialist, it could be farm specialist, it could be,
Hmm.
commercial land specialist. There are that. And there's one or two larger national brokerages that specialize in that. United is one of them. But nothing they have compares to the listing distribution reach that we have, nor is it nearly as beautiful as what we have. So it is like the lowest of the low hanging fruit for attraction. Let me switch over to that for attraction because it's like a complete no-brainer. If somebody
Yeah.
wants to sell luxury, that there's a good chance they're already at a luxury brokerage or they have lots of choices. We know that if somebody sells land and ranch or anything related to that, they don't have hardly any choices. And the choices they do are probably much more expensive to them with a lot less offering. It is like the biggest no-brainer in the world. And I am going heavy, heavy in that for attraction.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
one thing you could do for you, Sean, or anybody who is doing prospecting, go through your MLS. Find who are the folks selling some amount of land. Just look for properties that are um, an acre or larger. You might have equestrian property, you might have mountain land, you might have, row crop farms, you might have timberland, you might have land for development, you might have infill land in the industrial area for, warehouses, whatever it is. See who's doing that. That is
Hmm.
a much, much easier outreach than just about EXP or even about EXP luxury because no matter what, we're going to be an upgrade to somebody. Lower price to them with our split structure, higher offerings. So this is the land and ranch dashboard. So like I said, we have a land and ranch dashboard too. So same thing. They can create a listing presentation by just not a listing presentation, but a marketing plan creator if they're going on a listing presentation.
Hmm.
We have beautiful Canva pieces. Oh, that's going to log me into my, um, oh no, okay. So, seller's guide, listing presentations, all of this. This is stuff they're having to individually create on their own. tons of training, really close-knit community. So I feel strongly in the luxury division, probably not like me saying this, but
Mhm.
strongly that our land and ranch division is our biggest opportunity for attraction. You don't have to sell any land yourself. You don't have to belong to the land and ranch division. But guarantee you, when you look, I like what I'm doing right now is I'm going in Zillow because I don't, I only belong to my MLS. I'm
Mhm.
going at Zillow and just making note. I'm spreading out geographically in Florida, in Georgia, in South Carolina, who is selling five or more land and ranch type properties for whatever is land and ranch for their area.
Mhm.
And I am planning on reaching out to them and just say, hey, introduce myself, say, however I want to introduce myself. It's just the opportunity with land and ranch for growth and for attraction is just crazy town. So we've got, brand guides. Let me show you. Um, and it is a little bit, unfortunately, it's a little bit like a misnomer with them having that word ranch in there. A lot of people start thinking
Yeah.
Montana or Texas cattle ranch. It's not. And they understand that, and they're going to start to bring a lot more um, visuals in that make it clear that this is literally anything under a larger piece of land umbrella. So we have our brand guide, um, different colors, kind of showing what things should look like. Let me pull up in case you're not
May I
seeing.
ask, this stuff's awesome that you're pulling up. Do you, because I know you do trainings, like you said, 3 days a week almost. Do you have any short, specific trainings that if you came across someone doing land and ranch and you wanted to go, look, here's a short video of some of the things we're offering that have just been amazing, and you send over, do you have stuff like that that you send to them that might be a short video of you breaking some of this down?
So where you can go, this is Land and Ranch website. You can go here. You can click on this join Land and Ranch where there's different information here. You can also, as an agent at EXP, you can go to the toolkits right here. Scroll down to, if you're not familiar with this, we have a land and ranch toolkit. So this is for anybody, whether you're in land and ranch, not, sell land and ranch, don't, doesn't matter. Same thing. We have a luxury toolkit. Um, and this is open to everybody. So if you go here, let me go down here to view the toolkit. There's a ton of information in here.
Hmm.
Same thing with luxury. There's a ton of information in the luxury, including little videos, things like that. And then that's when you can also see, you can book a one-on-one if you've already piqued somebody's interest with the Land and Ranch Division, information on the program here. This is where they talk about this is what's
May
going
I,
to
may I
win.
pause you real quick? Go back up to that. You said book a one-on-one. Is that being booked with someone at corporate to
Yeah,
discuss
you're
some
going to book
important?
with somebody at corporate, like you've already introduced them to Land and Ranch, you've, wet their whistle to learn more. You can book a one-on-one.
And obviously, if I book that, I could jump on and be a two-on-one, but whatever, be on there with them.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
to get somebody from corporate to support you. We are creating a growth team within Land and Ranch. Um, so that's going to be an option too, where they can, have somebody, or, I'm happy to do it with you guys as well. Have somebody who's an agent who's actually using the tools and things like that.
Hmm.
This is the big thing that's going to win a lot of people's, really spark their attention. It is very expensive if you're an individual agent to try to get your land, farm, equestrian listing properly out to all the proper portals. It is very expensive.
Hmm.
Here, these are all the places that when you join Land and Ranch, where your listings are distributed. So land.com, Land Broker MLS, Farms USA, Land Hub, farmandland.com, Land Watch. This is where you're really going to get somebody's attention because they might be spending several hundred to a couple $1,000s per listing
Hmm.
if they're
Wow.
having to pay for all of these individually.
Do
Um,
you by chance have, or is there on here, testimonials? were people that came over to our luxury, to our
And
whatever,
it
and
might be on
started.
Instagram, probably on the Instagram might be some.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
and this is also where you can go. They have this open to all agents. This is once a month, the fourth Tuesday of each month. So you can register, you can bring your prospect to that where you share, together. So there's just like a ton of stuff um on here for land and ranch um as well.
Very,
And
very
again,
cool.
this is available to everybody. You just go through the toolkits and the same thing with the luxury division. We have a toolkit. Again, you might not sell luxury real estate, you might not sell real estate at all, like you, Sean. Um, all of this is available to you. Tons and tons of things so that you can further understand it, have something to share with prospects,
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
tons of stuff, including, full PDFs, videos you could drop. Here's a little EXP Luxury Explained. Um, you know,
Yeah. Now there they are.
Here are
That's
some
wonderful.
testimonials.
Love it.
This is for the luxury division.
There
Here's
you
mine.
are. There's a
Obviously.
testimony from you.
Yeah. So Land and Ranch is newer. It's less than a year old. They have, I think, maybe 200 members right now. So a huge opportunity too. Like
Yeah.
anybody who's serious about attraction, I would really, really look at all the different ways you can leverage the Land and Ranch division for attraction purposes. I think it is because it is an upgrade to anybody you're talking to. That's often what agents want. They want an upgrade. They want either, you know, better fees, more marketing, more tools. You're not
Yeah.
having to compete against other similar offerings from other brokerages because there just isn't anything like what we have to offer.
Yeah. And you know that, I'm sure, just from all the different
Right.
presentations, agents you spoke to, nothing like this exists. This is
Nothing
good
like
stuff.
this exists.
I don't mean to take up all the questions, you guys. We only got about 8 or 9 minutes. We're so thankful. JD, this has been really good. It really has. It's a different angle than I've had anybody go, so I sincerely appreciate it. Other questions? You guys want to dig a little deeper before she jumps here? Anybody got any further questions? Look, you've done
Yeah,
so
I
good.
do.
Go ahead.
Yeah. How do you work with the international property?
You mean to sell or
Yeah, land like in Dominican Republic.
to sell
And
in the land in the Dominican Republic?
yes, uh-huh.
Yep. I would reach out to the Land and Ranch Division and ask them. I believe EXP is in the Dominican Republic,
Yeah,
if I'm
no,
not
they are.
mistaken.
They
Yeah.
are.
So you would just have to ask them, what do they have in the Dominican Republic? It's a new division. Um, they are in the US right now. I don't know if they're yet in Canada, the division. So you'll just have to ask them because some of those distribution partners, the listing distribution partners, hold on, let me find it, might be distributed out to Dominican Republic. I don't know. So I would ask them.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And something even could be potentially finding somebody, like if you're talking to somebody like you are, asking about the Dominican Republic. Let's say you were asking about West Virginia instead. Maybe you could find an existing land and ranch agent in West Virginia, put them together as potentially, say, a co-sponsor or something like that. They can even
Mm,
list with that person to you know, help plug them in, help get them going. So, like I said, there's just so much opportunity with this new division. I'm super excited.
very, very cool. Brett, go ahead, my friend. He's got a question for you.
Hey, Janie, thank you so much. This is confirming a lot of things that I knew about Land and Ranch, but it's information from somebody at a higher level and really is super helpful. But one thing I would say to the group is there's like three advertising websites slash platforms on here, and I can tell you that's going to cost you for one listing $195 per month. You do that for 3 months, you're up to $600 on one listing. And
And
that's
yeah, some
one.
of them are even more than that.
Yeah, yeah, and that's a small percentage
Yeah.
of the advertising that you get here. So really excited about that. Um,
Now,
so the
are
posts,
you
I was
saying,
wondering where
Brett?
the posts that you're putting
Okay.
on Facebook, where are you getting those from? I'm
Okay.
not quite sure where to access those on
Sure.
Landon.
Do you belong to Land and Ranch?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. So when you log into your dashboard of Land and Ranch, if you go to Canva,
Hmm.
there's different things in there, right? So
Hmm.
go into Canva here, seasonal, uh, December, and there's different things in here for um, different seasons, different needs, stuff like that. So just go into your Canva and then you're going to find all the different things.
Okay.
Let me see, listing related, like if you have a new listing. So they have all of this done and you pull up EXP has a thing within Canva, and this is for
Yeah.
everybody, just Land and Ranch, that it'll auto import the photos, the data, and everything for your listing. So it makes it super, super easy.
Oh, I did not know that. Okay. Super cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes it so cool. And I think you go to apps, maybe it's EXP. Let's see. Yeah, EXP listings. You just load that and add it to your dashboard at Canva. And then you will put in your address or your MLS number. It'll pull all the photos, all the listing description. So then when you're on that social media piece, you just click which photos you want and stuff like that.
Okay.
But like I said, almost everybody, and you're in Lexington, so you probably have a few local brokerages that do a lot of equestrian. But
Right.
even then, because I was an equestrian specialist long before luxury. Even then, those small brokerages normally don't have a ton of assets to help their agents, meaning a ton of social media posts, a ton of listing distribution, like you're talking about. This is, I was spending when I was at Sotheby's, I got all that high-end listing distribution as part of my split. That's what I was paying for. When I went to Compass, Compass doesn't have, they might have now, but they didn't have any listing distribution for luxury listings. None. I was spending 20 to 25,000 a year
Mm.
just to get the same listing distribution to the Wall Street Journal, to Barron's, to Robb Report, to James Edition that I was getting when I was at Sotheby's. So now that I'm at EXP with the luxury division, I don't pay any extra for any of that. So what I was spending 20 to 25,000 has now dropped down to 2,500 a year,
Right. Right.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
That
it's
It's
sounds
very
great.
amazing.
expensive for land and ranch, very expensive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I've been looking at, I sold farms and ranches in Oklahoma and now in Kentucky for 7 years. But so I've been looking at, how do you expand this marketing for uh, a rural agent? And it's always been this big hurdle of
Huge.
how do you afford it? And
Yeah.
also how do you package something together that's really phenomenal? And this is
And how do you have the
I can't
time?
believe they put this together.
How do you have the time as a solo agent who's trying to
Mm,
sell? How do you have the time to come up with amazing graphics, amazing listing distribution, amazing listing presentation? Not only the one time putting it together, but
mm,
the putting it out there to start with. Even at
right.
Sotheby's, if you list a property, you have to list it twice. You list it once in the MLS and once in something they call Dash, which gets it
Mhm,
out to all these systems. Us, we just activate it in our dashboard and it automatically goes out. So just the time savings alone is just
mhm.
really huge.
well, it's kind of like you've been saying. You could literally just target luxury and land
I
and ranch
would,
agents.
I'm telling you, you
Uh,
can make like a little, just a little snapshot thing and say, hey, I'm at this brokerage. We just came out with the most amazing land and ranch. I'd love to just send you something over, like a
yeah.
little 5-minute sizzle something and then go further from there. Because again, if you're a luxury agent or you want to get in luxury, you've got a lot of choices. You've got a lot of choices.
Yeah.
At Land and Ranch, they don't. Just like Brett's saying, they do not.
Mhm.
The
Or
only
like
one
you
I
said, I
know of
mean,
that's national is United, and their stuff is not beautiful. Our stuff is beautiful.
the thing that just grabbed me, you guys, 20 to 25,000 versus 2,500.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That could be some serious drip campaigns created for people doing just
Wow.
this. Oh my gosh.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very,
In
very
fact,
cool.
I don't know how you kept it down to 25 grand if you were doing something similar to this, really,
Yeah,
for a year.
yeah.
Wow.
No,
It's
he's right.
it's pretty huge. You can I really appreciate you everything that you've presented today, Jamie, because it also brings to mind that a couple ideas. One, if you've been thinking about getting into this niche, there is no better entrance than
Right.
this because you've got the advantage when you sit down with a seller way above anybody else. So
Way
the
above.
rest of it is just learning the nails, hammering the nails on that of how to be a land agent, which isn't really all that hard. It's just a matter of education and some time. But the other thing is, there's a lot of agents out there across the board in the United States who would like to sell two or three pieces of land. And they're like,
Mhm.
I just haven't done it. I don't know how to market these properties. Putting them on Zillow doesn't really work. And they're right. That's a bad place for it. You bring them this, all of a sudden they're in business. So
Yeah. I
awesome
mean,
job, Jamie.
oh, thank you. I would be looking again, looking through Zillow, looking through your MLS, Zillow, because you can go much larger than your MLS. Find the
Mm.
person who sold a handful of mid to higher price land type thing because they're going to have the get the appetite for it. They maybe got lucky. Their, person at school or their neighbor or something said, "Hey, I have this farm to sell or this timberland to sell or this equestrian ranch to sell." They sell it. They're like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing. I made so much more money than I normally did." Maybe they've done two or three, but they're realizing like, this is so much for me to pull together.
Mm.
I don't have the time, the expertise, the knowledge, the contacts, the training. And all of a sudden we're like, here you go.
Yeah.
It's all done.
Yeah.
It's all done.
Awesome. Love it. Love it. Thank you. This is very, very informative. Sincerely appreciate it, Janie. Really, really do. I know it's after
You're
10
welcome.
o'clock now. I didn't ask you, would you like me to send you over the video once I have it
Yeah, please,
for
if you
you?
could, that would be great. And then, like I said, I will send you my Luxury and Specialty Agent Attraction Academy link. I do a live training um, once a month. My one is actually coming up on Thursday. And then I
Okay.
have, um, let me see if I have it here. I have six or so past trainings where I've broken down, yeah, here we go. I've broken down the Compass Anywhere
Mm.
um, merger, what that means for attraction. I've broken down the different avatars of what people are who are most likely to move, so you don't spend a lot of time chasing people who aren't likely to, that's one of the things a lot of times I have somebody like, "Oh, I just need to convince this person." Like, no, you don't. You just need to
Yeah.
build a bigger funnel and find the people who are looking for what you have to offer or
Yeah.
what we have to offer. So I have, like I said, all these different trainings here on luxury, on the specialty divisions, on the Compass Anywhere, um, on all these.
Wow. And this will be what you're going to send over to me that I can
Mhm.
share.
I'm going to
Okay.
send you this, and then, like I said, I do my live one is coming up on Thursday,
Okay.
3:30 Eastern Standard Time. Thursday will be the January uh, version,
Gotcha. Okay.
but I'll send that
Fantastic.
over so you can share with everybody. And then I have like a little cheat sheet here that people can download that kind of summarizes everything we've discussed about how to use these divisions for attraction. And we didn't even talk about sports and entertainment or new
Yeah.
development. Those are other two divisions.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like you said, you caught somebody's attention with that sports and entertainment. I've heard that multiple times now
Yeah,
over the last several
100%.
months. Yeah. Well, awesome. Again, thank you. Thank you so much for jumping on here, Janie. We sincerely appreciate it. I look forward to getting that email from you. I'll send over the video once I receive it. And Brett and everybody there, once I get the links, I'll put them in our little Facebook group have a post there, and I'll have the different links for you guys to be able to click on. And man, other than that, we're just grateful and thankful, Janie, you came on here. All you guys, again, Happy New Year. Sincerely appreciate you jumping on, man. Let's make this the biggest year ever. Do not hesitate to reach out to any of us, you guys. You got questions, the leadership team, let us at least guide you. And hey, for any of you guys like to do a little co-sponsor with Miss Janie. That was a
Yeah.
phenomenal presentation. And I'll go look for some of my agents I've talked to that specialize in those and maybe come from a different angle. And I may come back with you for a little co-sponsor.